Hello. This week I've been super busy. Earlier this week I was out planting snapdragons. Also, if you see this in your garden, get your trowel, get your shovel, and deal with it immediately because it is the grossest, most annoying garden pest or garden weed that I've personally ever dealt with. So gross. You can't even, you know how dandelions, you can grab it from the bottom and sort of twist and pull it out and the whole taproot comes with it. This has a very deep, sturdy taproot. I don't know exactly what this is. I've been looking on invasive plants websites and catalogs online and I can't seem to figure out which one it is. But these are, yeah, very deep taproots, very shallow, a basal cluster of leaves. And if you try and do that, twist and pull it out like you would a dandelion, the outer leaves just slide off and it's slimy in the middle. It's some sort of disgusting defense mechanism towards humans pulling out weeds. Oh, so gross. I need my trowel to dig it out and I sort of push the tip of the trowel in and break off that taproot, and that's how I get it out. And it just seems to, the other year I didn't know what this plant was, and because there are a lot of plants that are coming up from the previous owners of the house, I thought I would just let everything go. And I let one of these go and it goes to flower, and it's even disgusting when it flowers because I don't know if it's because of the plant or because of some bug that likes to come onto the plant and maybe lay eggs or something, but there's a foam develops around the where the flower is, and it's wet and it's nasty. Just every part of this weed is gross. Though honestly, when the flower stalks dry, they kind of look nice. But other than that, I wish I never let it go to flower and go to seed, because now I have so many of those weeds just popping up all over the place and it's difficult to get rid of and it's just gross. It's just gross. So get rid of it as soon as you can. Normally I like to color block where I plant all my snapdragons, and I try to kind of, but I just underestimated, just put them anywhere really. It's not going to be all that organized looking when it starts to bloom, but hopefully I'll be harvesting and using a lot of the blooms off of them anyways. It's been so sunny for the past few days, and when I planted it I knew it was going to be sunny for another couple of days at least. So I put a frost cloth over it, not because I'm worried about frost. Those snapdragons really were hardened off. They were in the hoop house for a while, but it gets a little bit sunnier outside of the hoop house, so I thought I would just put the shade cloth on, the frost cloth on to act as sort of a shade cloth, just so it's not getting so intensely nailed by the sun. Thankfully I already had some of those fiberglass hoops put up, so I just put the frost cloth on top of that. I think what I might do is put some Hortonova netting across there, and that might keep all of the stems as they grow coming straight up. The varieties of snapdragon that I like to plant are the Madame Butterfly series, and those have particularly long stems. They're really great cut flowers, but they also are just so big and they will flop over if they're not supported correctly. Snapdragons are geotropic, so they're gonna grow away from gravity, upwards. They're gonna grow upwards. And that means that if they do fall over, they'll just bend. The stem will just bend and keep going up. So you can get kind of a perpendicular angle on your stems, which don't always look great. Some of the wonky stems are great for putting at the edges of bigger arrangements, bigger flower arrangements, but since I'm not always gonna do that, I do want some straight stems. So I'll put some netting across soon before, you know, those plants get too big, and hopefully that will help to keep the stems straight. What else? I also got some larkspur planted out. I'm actually hoping to go out there today and get even more larkspur planted out. Those are cold hardy, so honestly I should have planted them out earlier. They also don't like to be root bound. It just like makes for an overall smaller and weaker plant. So I want to get the rest of them in the ground as soon as possible. I think I'll put them in the raised bed outside. And then what's been taking up the most of my time this week, aside from some other errands that I had to get done, like getting my tires changed out on my car, has been just preparing for the farmer's market. So the big things I need to do to prepare for the farmer's market, to prepare my plants for the farmer's market, is a lot of potting up. I have some more over here that I'm planning on getting to in a little bit, and hardening off. So it's gotten very sunny lately, as I've said, so it's a little bit trickier to harden off, or I just have to be on it more. I am like a lot more careful this year hardening them off, because last year so many of my plants got like sun bleached and just, you know, so I'm trying to be very careful with it this time around. But what's been taking up the majority of my time is just potting up. Lots of potting up. Just, it seems endless. Just again and again and again and again. Potting up all the time. While I'm watching TV, potting up. While I'm just sitting and doing nothing, potting up. While I'm listening to my podcasts, I'm potting up. There's no free time basically that I have now. I'm just potting things up. I have some here that I'm gonna be getting to in a little bit. Normally I do it on the ground, like I just sit myself on that ground next to my big like tote full of soil or potting mix and just do it there. But it's like getting difficult for me to just sit down on the ground like that. It kind of just like hurts everything. I'm not in the best of shape, so I figured I might start standing and doing it. You know, when I was in my 20s, like my early to mid 20s, I would stand all the time. I would walk everywhere, like I was walking to work. We had like desks that stood up, so I would just have it standing a lot of the time. I'm only in my like very early 30s now, and I just like have such a harder time doing it. So anyways, I figured maybe if I start standing and potting up, that will help me get a little bit back into shape. And speaking of getting into shape, or, you know, just doing some small little things to get back into shape, I also started some alfalfa seeds to make sprouts. I started it yesterday, super easy. I have a bunch of kits that I sell at the farmer's market to do this. So it's just a mason jar, the stainless steel mesh lid, a little stand for the mason jar to like sort of tilt it over and keep it like wet but draining. Super easy to start this and grow alfalfa from seeds, grow sprouts from seeds. I just put about a tablespoon of the seed in. I've been soaking it for a day, about 24 hours. Every few hours I change the water, I rinse out all the seeds. You can see it's getting a little bit yellow, the water. And I'm not sure what it is. It's like the husk of the seed kind of like coming off or like releasing all that yellow stuff. So I like to rinse it off, get that all out, because when I start draining it, which I will in a little bit, actually let me do that now. So I just poured out the water and it comes out kind of yellowish, and it's gonna stay coming out yellow for a while, so I don't want to stain. Like, I like to just keep it on my countertop like this. But since the water's still coming out yellow, I'm just gonna put it in a little plate, and I'll just keep this by the window. Like, it doesn't get direct sun from the window, but it's still kind of like gets light from it. And in a few days, I'm expecting to see some sprouts. In less than a week, really, it's edible. The reason I want to start some of this now is because, yeah, I do want to get back into shape. It's been like a rough couple of years, I'm not gonna lie. I think since I started making videos, I've maybe gained like 25, 30 pounds. Not because I'm making these videos, but just because it has been a rough couple of years. Anyway, so in addition to that, wanting to eat a little bit healthier, you know, sprouts I can just put in anything and it just gives some more nutrition, makes me a little bit fuller, It's more encouraging for me to eat salads because I like the way that sprouts taste. And I'm growing other herbs that I like to put in my salads as well. In addition to all that, I like to have a display for the farmer's market because I do sell those kits. So I like to just show people, you know, what it's gonna look like. And sort of like a proof of concept of, look, hey, you can actually grow these sprouts at home. It's super easy. It's like a very passive system. All you need to do after this, so after what I just did, after the first day of just letting the seeds soak in that water, is just give it a rinse once or twice a day with water and then drain it and, you know, put it back on the stand. Anyway, the camera is running out of batteries. I'm gonna get to potting up and I will see you guys next time. Just wanted to give you an update on what was going on. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.